Good morning, staffers. Today we are in the lovely San Diego area, and today we're going to talk about revenue and pricing. Let's get started. Good morning, staffers. We are here today in the lovely San Diego area. And I was hoping to get some fabulous shots from you for you guys here around the bay, but to be honest with you, it's a little bit cloudy today, so we're probably going to have to forego those and just have the taping here. But I'm here in San Diego because I'm attending the American Institute of Tax Planners Conference for Certified Tax Coaches. And for you guys that don't know, in addition to being a CPA, I'm also a certified tax coach. And what that means is I do some pretty complex tax planning with my clients. And usually those clients that I'm involved with that we do that complex tax planning with, they're usually in a net income, which means profit range of $250,000 and to begin with, and on average at least $500,000 is what we're seeing that we're really doing strategic tax planning. And what that means is that most of you guys will go to your local CPA and they'll tell you, hey, in order to get your taxes down, go ahead and buy a truck. But to be honest with you, being a profit first professional, I will never tell you to buy a truck unless you really need a truck. Instead, we'll look at alternative ways of saving taxes, such as deferring income, looking at retirement options where we can max that out, or looking at qualified opportunity zones to defer some capital gains. So we'll get into some more complex strategies for you guys in order to defer taxes instead of going out and buying a truck, which is completely anti-profit first, by the way. But today what I wanted to do really is talk to you about pricing, kind of give you a tidbit of what I do with some of my clients when working with them in their coaching session. And particularly not just pricing, but particularly the markup. And one of the things that I see with business owners and entrepreneurs is there's always this apprehension about increasing prices or charging even a fair price. And it's almost like there's this fear that if I charge a fair price, if I charge the market rate, I might not make the close. I might not get the client. And there's this fear of doing that. And so a lot of times what business owners will do is they'll say, okay, I will decrease my markup just for you. I'll discount it if you're going to buy more business, or I'll make it up in the volumes of what a lot of business owners tell themselves. And I'm going to put a link to my video that we did a while ago about the pricing and the importance of pricing adequately. But really what I want to talk about today is really just the mental mindset that goes around pricing. And although, I think particularly to staffing industry, it can be a little misleading because when staffing agencies think about volume, and sales, usually they are placing several different people out there in the field. And so they are seeing millions from the get-go, a lot of them just from starting up. And there's an illusion when they're seeing these millions is because they have to really think about the cost that goes into those millions. These are not necessarily bottom line numbers. It's not what I'm going to get. I have to pay payroll for those that are actually in the workforce. It's going to cost me to recruit. I need software because, I need complex payroll because I've outgrown QuickBooks because they only go up to 250 employees. And so really there's a lot of cost that goes into that. And when you discount your prices, what happens is now you are absorbing the cost out of that profit that you could have potentially made had you just made the right price. And not only are you discounting your prices, having an effect on your profit, but you're also shortchanging yourself. You're shortchanging yourself because now you've got less cash flow to work with. So you are now having to make decisions of, okay, granted, the person that I place is the person that I place, but who internally is going to find that person I'm going to place? Now, because you have less cash flow, you have to make very different decisions. Like maybe instead of getting someone that's going to be an A player, you might have to settle for a B player, or even worse, a C player there that isn't going to be as efficient, isn't going to be as experienced. And, when you think about cutting prices, you have to think about that domino effect, that it's not just bottom line. Now you're not going to be able to invest in technology to get new equipment that might be able to automate things faster. You're not going to be able to recruit the person internally that's going to be able to really service your client in an all-star fashion. And pretty much what happens is you end up financing the endeavor for your client. And in some ways, some of you guys actually serve as banks for your clients because now they've got 30 days to turn around this invoice. But in the meantime, you're working on cash flows of just what you have right now from what you're making to pay those employees, pay those internal staff, pay those costs that you need in order to keep your office running. And so really, staffers, it's really important to think about, that domino effect that happens when you discount your prices. You know, you're not just charging a price for your own bottom line. You are representing your staff. You are representing your team. And at the end of the day, you're also representing your client, because if you don't charge them a fair price, you're not going to be able to put the right people on that job in order to give them the service and the quality that your client is really expecting and looking for. Instead, you're putting them in a situation that's high stress. They're getting someone that they potentially didn't want because they're working with somebody that doesn't have the experience. So staffers, the best thing you can do for your clients, for your team, for yourselves, is charge a fair markup. Do not discount your markup. Do not underplay yourself, because not all contracts are good contracts. Sometimes it's better just to let a contract go, because if you discount that price, you're going to have to get another contract, hopefully that's going to subsidize that cash flow for you and make up those margins. And then at that point, you're playing a float game, and that's not a game to play. You're better off literally just saying no to the customer that's not willing to value you at the work that you bring to the table. The other thing, staffers, I would say is consider the Pareto principle. Now, the Pareto principle says that 80% of your resources is going to go to 20% of your bottom line. And I always say, I know, like, it could be potentially, let's say most of your clients are healthcare staffing. And let's say you get this one-off project that, hey, I need you to fill a office clerk, or maybe a working type of position, and it's just a one-off position that it's just not your zone of genius. So now you're going to have to take a revamp of how you do things. That means you're going to have to look at a different talent pool, right? That means that you're going to have to, you don't have a pool already in place of qualified candidates. You have to restart that. And suddenly it's more expensive to recruit for this one-off type of position than it would be for you just to be able to focus on your zone of genius and just say no to that other type of job that your client is asking you for. So always think about, what is my zone of genius? If I focus on my zone of genius, so focus on what I'm good at, what I already have momentum at placing, it's going to cost me less to fulfill that, because now I have processes, I have economies of scale, I have people that are trained, and granted, I'm going to have to say no to some opportunities, but saying no to that opportunity says yes to the bigger, more important purpose. So in one of our next videos, we're going to talk about niching versus not niching and what that difference is. And until the meantime, I look forward to seeing you guys next time.